What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we're going to be having a look at a new Skywarp card. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Skywarp Teleporting Seeker, which is going to be coming out in Wave 2 of the Transformers trading card game, Rise of the Combiners. Now, I've talked quite a bit about the Skywarp from Wave 1, but honestly, for me, the Skywarp from Wave 1 was a 6-cost plane. You had Thundercracker, who could do cheeky damage as an 8-cost. You had Starscream, who did cheeky damage dependent on the amount of other planes you had as an 11-cost. They were my two favourite planes. They added up to 19 stars, so I needed a 6-star plane. That's why I played Skywarp. Well, in Wave 2, Skywarp is back, and it's not just a seat filler. It is a 10-cost plane. And that is something we're probably going to have to take a little bit seriously. But are the stats worthy of being a 10-cost plane? And to begin with, yeah, they're not too bad. Now, the health of 13 is nice, it is above average. The attack of 3 or 4 is average or just below, and a defense of 0 or 1 is bad. Well, okay, the health is nice, but the rest of the stats are not good. But I don't really mind, because it's a specialist, more on that in a moment, and also it's got really, really nice skills if you're willing to forego battle icons. What do we mean? Let's have a look, shall we? In bot mode, once per turn, when you play or flip a battle card that has no battle icons, you get +3 attack and +3 defense. So you know a minute ago when I said I liked the stats and then I said I didn't like the stats? Well, this is the explanation. I don't like the stats. But if you can flip a card with no battle icons, you end up with 6 attack, 3 defense, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty gosh darned ridiculous. 3 defense, that is higher than average. That is a good starting point. 6 attack is very, very nice. Not perfect. There are cards that have more than 6 attack, but even so, 6 attack is a very, very nice starting point. Because remember, right, this is while you're battling. It's not like you're stuck on 6. That is 6 for the no battle icons, but then you can also just go ahead and start flipping other stuff. You can flip some other orange icons while you're at it, and that's kind of the point here. So if we can find some cards we like that don't have battle icons, that's really nice. We're going to talk more about this in a moment, but remember, if they've got no battle icons, they don't help you attacking, they don't help you defending. This can be incredibly risky. In alt mode, when you flip to this mode, return a card that has no battle icons from your scrap pile to your hand. Well, this, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very nice indeed. That means that if you're playing these cards without battle icons, you can get them back far more easily, and this gives you a rather nice advantage indeed. So cool, we've got some skills we really like, but they all revolve around cards that don't have battle icons. Now, generally speaking, cards that don't have battle icons are actually really good, because battle icons are, well, they're the great equalizers. If a card's kind of not quite good enough, you give it good battle icons, otherwise you give it worse battle icons to balance it out a little bit. So if we take a couple of examples from Wave 1, for instance, you can see that we got Plasma Burst, just does a straight 2 damage to an enemy, but it doesn't have any icons. Compare that to Zap, which does 1 damage to an enemy, but it does have an orange icon here. Or we could look at something like Handheld Blaster. Handheld Blaster, not a particularly good card. Gives you bold 1, there are many better cards that give you bold, but it has a double blue pip. So there we are. So we're expecting cards with no battle icons to not be quite good enough. So what do we actually have? Well, in Wave 2, we've got some nice ones we've already seen. So Bad Attitude comes to mind. Bad Attitude, if you began the game with only Decepticon characters, most of the good planes tend to be Decepticons. Not all of them, you know, it's something you may would play around with. You repair 1 damage from each of your characters, and then do 1 damage to each Autobot. So absolute worst case scenario, you heal 1 damage from all of your characters if you're playing all Decepticons, which, why would you be playing this card if you weren't? But then you might be able to do 1 damage to each Autobot as well. That is a really good combination of skills. That could be an awful lot of fun. And there's a card we haven't got round to yet that we are going to mention in the near future, but I need to give a quick shout out to Crash Landing that we haven't covered on this channel yet. It's an upgrade utility that can only be put on planes, but if it's KO during your opponent's turn, you do damage equal to its attack to a tapped enemy, which is pretty gosh darned ridiculous. That means that if you whack this on a plane, you're getting some really nice cheeky damage, direct damage, non-attack damage, call it what you will, onto one of your opponents when it goes down. And of course, using the alt mode skill here, you can basically guarantee that you're always going to have this, which is very nice indeed. But we also have Bolt of Lightning. Now, to be fair, Bolt of Lightning costs a star. You can't just use Bolt of Lightning. Bolt of Lightning is not free. You have to use one of the stars from your deck in order to play it. You cannot have a 25-star team of characters and play this as well. But you get to do free damage to an enemy. Now, what I love, and I mean love about this, is that you can get it back with the alt mode skill. Because now you've got free damage anywhere, and you can't just do free damage with a skill. Because essentially you flip, you grab it back, you play it as your action for the turn, boom, free damage. Now it is your action and your flip essentially, but we just don't have characters that can do that. Nemesis Prime can do free damage, but to a character of your opponent's choosing, which is not necessarily quite as good. The aforementioned Thundercracker can do 2 damage, but only to a melee character. But then again, these are both 2 damage, not free damage. And like I've said, if you really can't afford to play that, don't forget you've always got Plasma Burst, and Plasma Burst will allow you to just do 2 damage. It's not as good as Bolt of Lightning, but by the same token, it also doesn't take your stars away from the rest of your team. So, you know, I think it's a price worth paying. You can also take advantage here of I Still Function to bring one of your planes back for a turn, or if you're playing non-planes, you can bring a non-plane back. But it's a really good card. It sees a lot of play, even though it doesn't have any icons, because you can bring a character back. Or maybe you use Medic, which heals 2 from one of your characters, and frankly it's so good it has to have this. You could go Photon Bomb, but it does 2 damage to yours and 2 damage to your opponents, which makes me a little bit nervous until you remember that you're a plane and you can use Bombing Run, and Bombing Run moves 1 damage from each of your planes to one of your opponent's characters. So actually the Photon Bomb Bombing Run combination is one that could work out quite nicely here. Or maybe you just go Ready for Action. Ready for Action untaps one of your characters with 10 stars or fewer. So use that. And incidentally, that will include Skywarp here. So we've got a whole bunch of options. Actually, one more I want to check out here. Strafing Run does 1 damage to each enemy, which can be very nice indeed, especially when you're combining it with Crash Landing that we talked about just a moment ago. So there's a lot to like about this. And then, of course, if you flip Skywarp into alt mode, you get a card back with no icons. And then if you've got access to Plan, then you can make sure that you are flipping a card with no icons when you're attacking to get up to 6 attack. And 6 attack on a 10-star character is great. How about Decepticon Crown? Decepticon Crown is one of these lovely little cards which is coming in Wave 2, which can only be put on a Decepticon, but it doesn't matter because it is a Decepticon. And then when one of your Decepticons attacks, you get Plan 1, which means that if you use Skywarp to get one of these back, you can then use Decepticon Crown to put it on top of your deck and guarantee that you get the stats boost. There is a lot to like about Skywarp here. The stats are not great, unless you go for the no icons, in which case they do become great. And then, of course, a lot of these cards with no battle icons are really good, and the reason they don't have icons is because they are frankly better than the alternatives, and they have to not have icons in order to balance them from a gameplay standpoint. So it really is the trade-off here. Are you willing to give away your icons, which could be increasing attack or defense at the appropriate time, so that you can take advantage of these skills and take advantage of the cards? You're not going to be getting the attack and defense boost when you attack and defend, except with Skywarp. But you are going to have these powerful cards, and you could take advantage of Skywarp skills. And the other thing to mention here is that you are a specialist. Now, back in Wave 1, we did actually have a couple of... Well, we had a couple of multi-cards, so to speak. We had multi-mission gear and multi-tool. Now, multi-mission gear is for specialists only. Now, it does give you +1 defense regardless, but when you put it on a specialist, you may play an extra action. And then multi-tool gives you +1 attack and lets you play an extra upgrade. But the better one of them is the one that I was able to officially reveal. Well, exclusively reveal. I'm not sure officially is the right word, but I got the reveal of that and I was delighted. White icon, +1 attack. When you put it on a specialist, scrap the top card of your deck and you may play it, which is awesome. Because you might actually get a ridiculous combo here where you scrap something like a Bolt of Lightning, you get to play it with Field Communicator, then you flip Skywarp, get to pick it up and play it again. That could be utterly crazily good. This could give you like double Bolt of Lightning, which would be such a fun thing. I've long had an affinity for Planes, and by long, I mean since the game came out. Planes has always been one of those factions I've been looking at very, very closely. And honestly, Skywarp I like. I don't love the 10 cost. And it really is one of those characters that forces you into deck building decisions. This is a hard card to just tack into a team, because it's basically, you've got to commit to these no icon cards in order to make the most of it. But if you do, oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, there is fun to be had. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Skywarp. I like it, but I would like to know if you like it. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. But please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Transformers and Keyforge and Pokemon and whatever takes my fancy. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.